Terrence Bates here with your Real America's Voice news break. Thanks so much for being here with us. Happening right now at the White House, President Trump meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The two are set to hold a bilateral meeting, and then they're going to have a joint news conference together, and that's expected to happen, at any moment. You can see the podium set up. The reporters are already in place, simply waiting for the arrival of President Trump and his Israeli counterpart. Today's meeting comes on the heels of Netanyahu addressing the United Nations General Assembly on Friday. And that very same day, President Trump alluded to nearing a peace or ceasefire deal in Gaza. Just this morning, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt saying that all sides are, quote, very close to agreeing to a comprehensive plan to end the war in Gaza. She also says the president's special envoy to the Middle East sent each side a detailed 21-point plan for ending that war. Leavitt goes on to say the commander-in-chief expects both sides to agree, quote, the president knows and believes that this is as good a plan as these sides are going to see, and that's why it's a 21-point plan. Again, we're expecting that news conference to happen at any moment. The moment it does, we'll take you there live. We also could get an answer to what Karoline Leavitt said about both sides agreeing to a peace deal, or at least a deal to end the war in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House today, and he could very well make that announcement here in short order. Meantime, President Trump is set to meet with top congressional leaders later on today as well. This, as the deadline to avoid a government shutdown is just hours away. Today's meeting comes after the commander-in-chief canceled a planned meeting with Democrat leaders from the House and Senate last week, saying that he just didn't believe talks would be constructive. Congressional Republicans are calling on their Democrat colleagues to agree to a continuing resolution that would keep the government funded through November 21st. While the measure passed in the House, Senate Democrats rejected the resolution and are demanding that recent cuts to health care programs be rescinded as part of any effort to keep the government funded. Many believe the Democrats will force a shutdown tomorrow if they don't get their way. That's a quick check of your headlines. Again, we'll take you back to the White House the moment President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu come out to address the media. For now, let's get you back to your regularly scheduled program.
All right, welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. Andrew Calvert, executive producer of this show. And I'm going to tell you about one of our partners. We're getting back into regular order. Bear with us as we do. I still got to kind of get the rhythm down again because our partners have just been so gracious to us and understanding that we are going through something unprecedented. And but I'm honored to be able to honor our advertisers and our networks and help everybody who's helped us so much. So please support these companies. And this one is Patriot Mobile. Glenn Story, I hope you're watching out there. You've been a tremendous friend. You've texted, you've called, you've seen what you could do. You've made donations. Patriot Mobile is your mobile carrier that you need to go with. So there's only one mobile company in America that boldly stands in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is worth fighting for, and that is Patriot Mobile. For more than 12 years, Patriot Mobile has been on the front lines fighting for our God-given rights and freedoms while also providing, and this is the key, you can have the mission, but you got to be good at it, exceptional nationwide cell phone service with access to all three of the main networks. Don't just take my word for it. Ask the hundreds of thousands of Americans who've made the switch and are now supporting causes they believe in. And boy, Patriot Mobile has been such a stalwart defender and supporter of Turning Point USA and this show. And so call 972-PATRIOT today or go to patriotmobile.com/Charlie. That's patriotmobile.com/Charlie. They'll give you a free month of service with that promo code. That is patriotmobile.com/Charlie or call 972-PATRIOT and make the switch today. Thank you to Patriot Mobile for helping out so much. You know what you've done, and for supporting this show. Thank you, Glenn and Jenny. All right, so we are talking about the spirit of the age. You made this comment that I just felt was really powerful, Pastor Josh. You said, when Erica said this statement that you're not rivals, and she's defining the roles of men and women, that she put a spear through the spirit of the Jezebel spirit of our age. So let's play this cut, and then I'll let you finish that up. Clip 27.
But please be a leader worth following. Your wife is not your servant. Your wife is not your employee. Your wife is not your slave. She is your helper. You are not rivals. You are one flesh working together for the glory of God.
It's incredible.
Let's go.
It's incredible. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's putting a spirit through your heart of chauvinism that would look down on a woman.
Yeah, got both sides. That's a good point.
Yeah,
she was an equal opportunity.
Everyone got to get shot. Everyone got to get addressed. So chauvinism, there's no room for that in biblical Christianity. Feminism, where men are put down and women are elevated. And so it was powerful. Can we read Bible verses on this show?
We could preach the gospel.
Let's go. Because you reminded me of this when you said it. It's in 2 Corinthians 10. In light of talking about spiritual warfare, Mark, I'd be interested in what you think of this. Paul says this. He says, the weapons we fight are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. Now watch this. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. That's what she was doing. And that's what made it so powerful. And then watch this. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. Christians typically read that verse, and a buddy of mine pointed this out, and we think of it as personal. Take captive my thoughts, don't have lustful thoughts, whatever. Paul is referencing taking captive thoughts in the context of public argumentation. He's calling Christians that's a wrong thought. Charlie was going around campuses and he was publicly taking captive those demonic thoughts and ideologies that really had the hearts and minds of students captive. And he was saying that's a wrong thought. That's a wrong idea. And he was demolishing these strongholds that set themselves up against the knowledge of God with the truth of the gospel. And that's what Erica was doing.
Love that.
And that's what made it so strong.
Well, yeah. I mean, Charlie, there's this great clip of him saying, my job is to confront evil. We might actually have that clip. I think we do have that clip. My job is to confront evil and to proclaim the truth. But let's just play this one just because it's fun to hear it in his own words. Let's play cut 28. This is Charlie with Tucker Carlson.
This is why your faith is the most important thing. Because for those of us that are Christians, you actually see what's going on, which is that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and darkness and spirits, that there's a spiritual war here. There is a God, and we are not him, that there is an entire dimension of angels and demons and spirits that are constantly struggling around us, and that there is a supernatural dimension.
Amen.
Crushed it. It's
no notes.
Well, see, part of it too, I said this, is I think that of all the political pundits and commentators I've met, very few would qualify to be a pastor according to the qualifications in the Bible. Charlie did. Mm-hmm. His character, his marriage, his personal integrity. And so I think an entire generation that was not in church, but they were online, I think they looked at Charlie as not just a big brother, but their pastor. Mm-hmm. So they were looking to him as to, okay, well, how do I get married? How do I have a family? What makes life meaningful? How do I know where the truth is? So Charlie was functioning as a pastor for an entire generation. Yeah. And so when he died, even those who weren't Christians, they felt this devastating personal, emotional loss, and that's why. And then they went to church because that's what Pastor Charlie told them to do. Yeah. And so I believe that he is well known for his political work. I think that now we're seeing his spiritual work was at least as equally impactful.
Yes. Yeah, it was bigger. Yep. And so, I mean, this is where I want to end this conversation in the time we have left. We got the rest of this segment and the next segment. What's your word? So Erica said go to church. Mm-hmm. Elon Musk retweeted it,
which is wild. I would hope that I hope that he was tweeting it on his way to church.
Dude, we saw Elon Musk singing along,
singing
to
some
Tomlin.
Worship songs.
Wow. Let's go.
There's the tweet. She's not a super active tweeter poster, but when she does,
bingo,
she makes gold records. Is this? Yeah. She
and thank you for doing this, Erica.
Yeah, thank you. And just to see Elon post that, and he posted, Anyways, my point is...
What's happening there, I think, is, I don't know where Elon is with Jesus, but there's just a recognition that cultural Christianity is good for everyone.
Yes, I think
That's part
Elon
of the
is
recognition
very
there,
well
I
aware
think.
that he does not want to live in an agnostic, atheist, Muslim country. He wants to live in a Christian one.
That's
he wants to
right.
live in one where people have virtue and honor and honesty and integrity, and they don't target him just because they don't like the fact that he's so rich. I mean, I think all that's very much playing into this, but
Yes.
I gotta believe that you do not sit through, and he sat through so much of it.
He sat through hours of gospel preaching.
And you can't. It's hard to sit through that
That's
and
right.
to feel the Holy Spirit and go, it's not real.
Yeah.
Well, and to ask too, what happens when I die,
Yes.
and what will they say?
Yes. And what was so powerful about that memorial?
And probably be confronted with the fact that he's under incredible amount of threats.
That's right.
Oh, his life is constantly in danger.
Yes. Yes. I was just going to say, a friend pointed out to me, that was not an event that had been planned for 10 months.
Yeah, that was a week.
The event we sat in that was so sweet and so
6
powerful
6 days,
didn't
7 days.
exist 10 days earlier.
Yeah.
And what it demonstrated was when you bump Christians with tragedy, what pours out is hope.
Well, yeah.
That's what's so powerful.
Well, and so what is the message to the shepherds, the pastors out there, Pastor Mark, Pastor Josh? How do they pass this test, and how do they step into the anointing of this new wine that is being poured out in the country? Because I think it's critical. One of the things Erica said, she said, shepherd them. Shepherd them.
So I'll pick it up there. There is a wild misunderstanding of what it means to shepherd. So in the Bible, animals are out in the field. They're exposed to wolves and predators. And so the shepherd has two jobs: one, to be tender with the flock; two, to be tough for the flock. If we took out the word shepherd and we inserted the word cowboy, you would have the biblical understanding of a pastor. A pastor is supposed to be a cowboy, supposed to be able to kill wolves and protect sheep. And the problem we have today, they're not fighting wolves, and as a result, they're really not loving sheep. And so, the whole cultural phenomenon of the West and Western nostalgia and Yellowstone, people watching that, ultimately what they are thinking is this is what leadership should be like. It should be more like a cowboy. And so I think part of the new wine that is going to form a new wineskin will include pastors who are not just guys who feel comfortable holding sheep and walking around singing songs, but they're cowboys that also know how to defend and protect, and when a wolf shows up, are not afraid to put him down.
Dude, Charlie was a cowboy.
He was a cowboy. Charlie Kirk was a cowboy.
That's right.
And he moved to Arizona, and he fit really well because it's still a cowboy town.
Well, and he, you're talking about the Old Testament would use the word shepherd, right? David was a shepherd, but he was killing lions.
Yeah. And
That would come after the sheep.
yeah,
He was
and-
carrying bags of enemies' foreskins around on his belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is-
he
One,
was a-
two, three, not it.
yeah, exactly.
he was a dude.
He was
Yeah.
a dude.
He was a dude.
And I think that's what you're getting at, right?
There needs to be a little more masculine fortitude in leadership.
When I remember when I was sitting listening to your preaching, you
were
talk
in
about
college.
there was this thing that you would say, we have this idea of Jesus being this spandex wearing fairy princess that just is singing these beautiful hymns in the clouds. It's like, no, look at Revelation. He's wielding a flaming sword, and he's coming to destroy the enemy and to protect his people.
Yes, that's
Strength.
the storyline of the Bible. And so for the church, fear is contagious and so is courage. And that's what you saw with Charlie. If Charlie had manifested fear, nobody would have showed up for his funeral. Because he manifested courage, there's an entire generation saying, I choose faith, not fear. I choose courage, not cowardice.
Well, here, let's play this clip. This is Charlie with George Janko, who's also in the local area. Oh, 1 second. We almost got it loaded.
Okay.
And when we do, it's going to be real good. I promise.
Super good.
Our studio's like, hold it. It's loaded. Let's go ahead and play cut 30.
These moments where you're fighting for your country and you're getting these threats, does it alarm and concern you for your children?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, my wife is the best person ever, and she's a patriot, and she's a believer, and we don't want to have to be accountable to God when this life passes. And he asks, why did you not trust in me and not fight evil? Because we as Christians are called to fight evil. It's one of the lesser known scriptures, Psalm 97:10. For those of you that love God, you must hate evil.
Pastor Charlie.
There it is.
Well, it's funny because
Cowboy Pastor
he
Charlie.
spoke at so many churches, in the last few years.
Yeah.
And he was always very clear, like, I'm not a pastor. I'm not a pastor. He was like, didn't want the
I
label.
think he was an accidental pastor.
He was well, yeah, and And
Yeah.
you know, that was all him. I remember when he was starting it, I was like, okay, Charlie, have you met any of these? The church can be worse than politics. Like, it's brutal out there.
Well,
And
he talked about, he was told early on not to combine the two. And then somehow, either on his own or through mentoring, he's like, no, we have to connect these two or we won't be faithful.
no, exactly. He didn't bifurcate his faith. He did not compartmentalize it. Speaking of another guy that does not, I want to tell you about Alan Jackson, great partner of this show. We're honored to be partnering with Alan Jackson Ministries. And today I want to point you to their podcast. It's called Culture and Christianity, the Alan Jackson Podcast. What makes it unique is Pastor Alan's biblical perspective. He takes the truth from the Bible and applies it to issues we're facing today, just exactly what we're talking about. Gender confusion, abortion, immigration, Doge, Trump in the White House, issues in the church. He doesn't just discuss the problems. He gives practical things we can do to make a difference. His guests have incredible expertise and powerful testimony. Each episode, you will recognize the power of your faith and how God can use your life to impact our world today. The Culture and Christianity podcast is informative and encouraging, and you can find it on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. They have been so faithful to us, and we love those guys. So please check it out, support them. We're going to keep going. We've got some 6 points coming up for pastors. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back.